So I've done a few of these kind of audition diaries videos where I take you month by month through statistics about my auditions, various different lessons that I've learned, and I just try to make the most of every audition experience because I think every audition can teach you something. So I thought before we get into the kind of monthly reviews of each of my auditions from July, August and September, I think these months are in this video, I thought I'd chat a little bit about just auditions, this kind of period, because I think it's nice to review overall where I feel like I'm at. I feel like these videos and filming this has made me realise that actually I'm doing so much better than I used to be doing, because it used to be rare for me to get a recall and now I'm getting recalls quite regularly. But I think actually having these opportunities to reflect has really made me realise different parts of my audition preparation process that I value, because yes, you can read the material and it's important. If it's based on a book, read the play, read all the material, know the material, be familiar with the material. That's all really important. But I think I used to be very much like, I need to go over the lines, I need to go over the lines again. I could always be going over the lines more and more and more. But also, like, having other things to talk about and being a well-rounded actor and human being allows you to be more human in the auditions. And when they ask you, what are you watching recently, or like, is there anything this reminds you of, or like, I've never been asked, is there anything this reminds you of, but it's something that I have talked about myself about that kind of thing as if it was a question that was asked to me. But I think having those kind of reference points and watching stuff and being able to be like, I think what you're creating, I see it as being like this, and that's the kind of approach that I'm going for. Is this how you see your writing? And like, being able to have different reference points and think about what's being made at the moment that's like it is really useful, and being able to have those kind of conversations about the vision as a whole. Like, I got feedback back from an audition that I did in June, and it was really interesting because they remembered the kind of show that I said I'd been watching recently, and if I was obsessing over lines, I wouldn't have been watching the show. But actually I was like, this is the kind of style of comedy I like, this is the kind of show that I like, and I think it's inspired me in this kind of way related to your material. And being able to be memorable like that and not just a machine and just saying generic actor stuff is really valuable in knowing lots of different stuff and being well read and being an actual person who they could work with, who has actual interests. Because sometimes as well in group auditions, people will be talking about various different shows or theatre that's popular right now, so being able to be knowing about what that is, I think, is also really useful. So I feel like being able to reflect on that with these videos is really helpful to me, because I think all these different audition experiences teach you a lot. And also I'm trying to take these monthly review session clips to various different nice places in nature that I just find myself in, because I think we all might get a bit bored of the white walls that I usually film against, like that's boring, and also it's nice to show that like as an actor you can still be out in the world, you don't need to be just intensely locking yourself away and working on acting. So I thought I'd take you to some nice places and take some time to almost like journal style kind of reflect, because I love journaling, and I journaled about a lot of the different acting classes that I did growing up as well, and I think having the opportunities to really reflect and process stuff is really useful and important. So that's what I hope this video can be. I'm not trying to be like, compare your audition statistics to me, because we're all different casting types and we're all on our different journeys, and different stuff will happen at different times, and like some people will be booking roles now, but you might be booking roles later on when other people aren't. So it's just so complicated, and I just think it's such a tough industry. Why don't we just all celebrate each other's wins? Like, your win is my win, my win is your win. Let's all just, like, it's nice to be knowing of people who are doing exciting things in the industry, and I would prefer to think of it than that, than to compare. And if you have a specific interest in a specific kind of month for any kind of reason, then they'll be time stamped below and in the video in case you want to skip to a specific month, but I think I've never really realised before, like I've heard that around like just after Christmas, January time, it's meant to be quieter, but I think I didn't quite realise that sometimes summer can be quiet as well. People are on their holidays, people are busy, so there has been less auditions. I'm filming this like just after I've filmed the month 1 update, so I don't know how everything will go, but I feel like I'm realizing that certain parts of summer can be quiet for certain kinds of jobs, and that's normal. And from actors that I've spoken to, like everyone's experiencing that, so I just think it's nice to have like solidarity with the actors in this video and know that like if you're experiencing a certain quiet period, often other people are too. So that's really reassuring to know, I think. And goals for this period and goals for I guess the rest of the year would be to obviously book work, because I think I am really grateful that this and reflecting on my auditions has allowed me to be grateful for the fact that I'm getting further in the processes. However, I would quite like to book work. Like, it would be nice financially, it would be nice for my CV. Like, I really miss being on set, and I would really love to do a short film. And I'm really grateful actually, because if I look back, I've done like 2 short films at least this year, so I have been really lucky, because some people don't even get that. But I would love to be filming maybe even like a film over like a couple days or more. Like, I'd like to be doing something back on set. I'd like to do a longer term project, but also I'd like to dip in and out of projects. Like, I'd just be grateful for the opportunities, so I'm hoping to get involved in more projects. But I think it's also important to know that like sometimes the industry happens the way it happens, and there'll be ups and downs, and there'll be more opportunities available and less opportunities available, and you've got to find a way to be just as happy and grounded in your life with or without these opportunities, because so much of it is out your control. All you can do is send off good tapes that you're happy with and put in your best work into all your auditions, and then what you're right for will happen. So with that all being said, here are my monthly reflections. So I fear this will be a tiny bit loud, but I guess that's the price you have to pay to get this meditative sea view. And I thought I'd take a second to reflect on the auditions that I had over the course of July, because I actually only had 1 self-tape, and I didn't require a self-tape reader for that, which means that my go-to self-tape reader of my mother got a bit of time off, which is nice, because otherwise I feel really annoying trying to get self-tapes read for all the time. When you have loads, you feel really annoying to the people around you asking to read in lines all the time. So that was good, but what there was more of a focus on in July was hearing back from some of the other ones, because I got feedback from a tape in June where they really liked the comic element of my in-person audition, but it just didn't have some of the other character qualities. And like hearing the balance about like which parts I was strong in and which parts I wasn't compared to what they were looking for is really interesting, because actually sometimes you forget that actually there's elements of auditions that you don't get that they'll actually really like. And also I was saving the dates for one job that they were interested in me saving the dates for, which I don't know entirely the implications of that, but it's clearly a good sign if they like you and they want to keep you in consideration. That was a really interesting reminder in the fact that I could actually book work, because I think sometimes you just become a bit numb to it all and you're just sending off tapes. But actually I do get quite close to booking quite a few different things, and they like me for a lot of different things, which is obviously really a good sign, but it does make you feel further away sometimes if you think too much about the possibility of getting the job and then like not getting the job, and then you can get down about it. But realistically, the fact that I am getting all this positive feedback and I'm getting through to the final rounds is a good thing. And also, I say I only did 1 self-tape, but actually I saw another one advertised. It started being advertised in July, but the deadline is September. And I feel like there are some benefits to sending something in early, so you're in their minds from an early stage. But also I know some people who send in their tapes at the very last minute and they book work. And I think like if I do it not immediately and it leads to a better result, I might as well do that. So that's how it's gone. It's been quite quiet, but I can already tell we're in August and I already can tell like it's being much busier. And I think sometimes it's good to have some time to reflect and some time to like, I think subconsciously you do then like appear more ready for other auditions, whereas otherwise you might be a bit more, I don't know, frazzled is the term. Like sometimes when you have loads of auditions, it's good to have some time to reset and then approach the next batch of auditions more fresh. So that was interesting. And also the one tape I did do, I didn't have to learn lines either because it was for a rehearsed reading. So I feel like if it's for a rehearsed reading where you'd be reading anyway in the job, I thought I might as well just read it. And they said that's like fine to read, but they just want you to be familiarized with the script, which I think is important to always familiarize yourself. But that's what happened with that. I'm on a Greek balcony, but nature in Greece is going to be so busy, but I thought it's important to show that like if you have the opportunity, like obviously this is a privilege, but if you have the ability to be able to go other places, like you don't have to intensely be working on acting all the time because that's not healthy. But obviously I'm very lucky and I don't do this every month, but I thought if I'm doing it I might as well bring you here. So I had 4 self-tapes in August, and actually 2 of them were improvised and quite a vague brief, but I think sometimes you can get caught up in that and think this is so vague, like it's like just tell a children's story or you're this type of like job role and this is what you're trying to do, like show us that, be original, and like you can get so in your head about it. But I think the better way to think about it is to think it's actually so open and there's so many different ways that you can take it, and you have so much creative freedom, so just embrace that. And then I had a scripted one that I hadn't had for ages, like I hadn't had a self-tape reader involved for a while. I'd had either monologues, rehearsed readings, or improvised ones. So I feel like in a way it was actually good because sometimes you can get into bad habits or think you need a certain amount of days in order to be able to prepare and feel solid with the lines, but realistically I was going away so I didn't have that much time. So I spent less than 24 hours learning the lines, preparing and turning it around, and I think that's a good reminder that actually you don't need as long as you think and you can do it in that amount of time. So I was very glad for that as a reminder. Like I think it's really important to just trust yourself and know that you can learn the lines and you can do it. So I got that done and it's 4 tapes, but I'm hoping to get more of those kind of usual 2 characters kind of like script, having a self-tape reader kind of stuff, because that's the kind of projects, leads to the kind of projects I want to do. Like I want to do more short films, I want to do that kind of thing, and like it's been a bit quiet over summer, but I'm hoping it will pick up again in September, because while I'm young I want to be able to be getting those kind of young roles and cover all the kind of roles that I want to do while I'm still in this casting bracket, but I'm trying not to stress about it because so much of it is out of your control, and some castings can come up so suddenly, and then suddenly you're thinking about relocating your entire life for a few months, and like you never know what's going to happen. So I've heard that summer's meant to be quieter, but actually September was much more quiet for me. I only had 1 self-tape, and I feel like that's something that you need to be aware of, in that then you could potentially be more at risk of comparing yourself to other people. Like I've been seeing people who have been doing short film projects that I would love to be doing and I haven't been seen for recently as much as I'd have liked. So I feel like I just try to take inspiration of that and save these and keep that as a reminder of the kind of projects that I'd like to be seen for and work on soon, rather than having negative feelings, because realistically it's nice to see people out there making work that you're interested in. And also, actually, something that I feel like I forget to mention is that I actually heard that I have booked 4 days of work, but it's just 4 days of work end of May next year. So it feels like a long time away. Like I will be turning 23 before I do that work, because I turn 23 end of April, and I just want to be able to get all the opportunities I can do while I'm still young and still able to play younger. So interesting, but I mean, I'm grateful for the work, it's just very far away. And also, I have managed to stay active in the industry because I have been going to a lot of different workshops, meeting a lot of people. And also, over these past few months, I've met a lot of people. So I feel like there are people who I've not worked with yet who have expressed an interest in inviting me to audition for future projects, or who offer me roles. Like sometimes I get offered roles from people who I've taped for before and been unsuccessful with. I'm thinking about reaching out to people, making more connections, and just seeing what I can do to get in the room even more. But I am really lucky because generally, like, some people only get one audition every few months. Sometimes just the industry's out of your control, and like stuff just isn't being made as much that you could be seen for. That's what's been going on for me. Let me know in the comments what's been going on for you, and thank you for following along with this.